What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel. And, it's finished. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. And we have come to expect certain things from the best league in the world. Excitement, great football, the world's best players. But we've also come to expect almost every single weekend that there are decisions that we just cannot explain away. And tonight, I think, was a new low. Now, obviously, last season we had the failure to draw the correct lines or look at the correct part of play in the game against Brentford, and that cost us 2 points. We've already had issues this season, but this takes some explaining. For their goal, we can all see, I'm going to put it up here now. The idea that you could look at this picture over and over again and say, well, you just don't have sufficient clarity to make a decision is mind-blowing. To be honest with you, I actually thought that the wristband technology that the referee has will tell him when a ball's gone out of play. Apparently, that's only between the posts, that we don't have sufficient technology to do that for the rest of the... It's ridiculous, isn't it? You'd think that'd be one thing we could do. But never mind that, we can actually freeze the frame. And to say that we don't have the right angle... There is daylight between the ball and the line. It's out. It's gone out. How you can say it hasn't, that's just mind-blowing. To the second point, is there a foul on Gabriel? Well, 2 hands in his back. He falls over. Whether the ball's offside or not, these are 3 issues. Take some 4 minutes to look at. But all of that is made ridiculous by the idea that we're talking about all these things when we have a photograph of the ball over the line. It's just not good enough. I'm pleased that Arteta did come out and say what he did, because if there's one thing more ridiculous than VAR decisions being made by people who don't seem to follow or watch the same kind of sport the rest of us do, it's the fact that the managers are not allowed to criticise them, even when it's quite evident that they deserve criticism. We have got to get to a place where we are using the technology, because there is nothing wrong with VAR. There's nothing wrong with VAR. It's the people who use it to interpret it. If you've got a photograph of a ball over the line and you decide that you can't be sure, that's not VAR. That's the people using it. And it's completely ridiculous that a game as important as this one should have been so badly officiated. Because this isn't just about that goal. I want to be absolutely clear. That goal is a ridiculous goal to concede because of it going over the line, because of a possible offside that we can't be sure about, and because of a possible foul, which apparently, and Dermot Gallagher speaking about this said he would have given it as a foul, and some will and some won't. Let's have some consistency. But I want to talk about Bruno Guimaraes because Kai Havertz makes a rash challenge, but he misses the player. He slightly catches a player when a player runs into him, and it was a reckless, though not dangerous, challenge. And the response to it from the Newcastle players was disgraceful, really. 3 of them were booked, remonstrating after the event, as if Kai Havertz had, let's say, for example, punched someone in the head. Bruno Guimaraes then goes in for a challenge just as bad, misses, thankfully, the player and the ball, gets up and immediately runs past Jorginho, had nothing to do with anything, and uses his forearm in the back of his head. And apparently, because it's not an elbow, it's absolutely okay. When has that ever been okay? He doesn't get a yellow card for diving in. He doesn't get a yellow card for punching someone in the back of the head as he goes past him. And then when the ball goes out for a throw-in, he picks the ball up and kicks it directly at Kai Havertz and doesn't get a yellow card for that either. What are we doing? Surely VAR at that point could say, Dermot, come and have a look at this. He's just run past someone and given him a slide dig with the... This is not what we have technology for. It is worth saying that absent the technology, if there were no VAR, these decisions would have been the same. Arsenal would have been in the same position. It's perhaps only galling because we now have technology to look at things and say, this happened and you missed it. Because on the field, the officiating was terrible. Now, it is what it is, all right? We are now no longer, in 1 week we've seen ourselves go out of challenging for the quadruple, which was never really on. And in the 20th anniversary of our invincible season, this is going to be the reason we're not invincible anymore. Well, actually, I think we'll probably lose other games this season. And, it's not really about that, is it? It's about that feeling you get. And I have to say, the one thing that I've taken from tonight, because I didn't do this video immediately afterwards. It just wasn't any point. I was too angry, and I'm sure we all were. And it did irk me somewhat, British understatement, to hear the Newcastle fans singing "Same old Arsenal, always cheating." Because I don't think you could say that about us tonight. But I do think Guimaraes was lucky to be on the pitch, and that goal shouldn't have stood. And they take the 3 points. It is one of the trickiest places to go and get a win or even a draw. And I would have taken a draw at the start of the match. But I am absolutely heartened by the online response. Certainly the comments I've read from Newcastle fans who are the first to say, look, we would be disgusted if it happened against us. And that's clearly not a goal. Decisions are not always clear cut. I want to say, I send all my love to Newcastle fans and I wish them well with the 3 points they got. They are undoubtedly a great side. The performance against PSG shows you that. This, I think, should have been a 0-0. And overall, we had more of the play and did create more quote-unquote chances. But once we've all let the dust settle on this game, we do have to have a look at a couple of players. But we do have to discuss Arsenal's failure to create. And we are responsible for that. Because if we'd got a goal, this would have been another one of those situations that we're talking about VAR, but we're not really that bothered because it didn't affect the outcome. I want to say huge love and respect to all of the football fans who park their desire to win a game, like the Newcastle fans have done by and large tonight, to say what they think is fair. Because the Premier League is one of the proudest institutions of British sport. And British sport has always been held up as a paradigm of fair play. Of accepting when you lose, fair and square, you wipe your brow and you get on with it. It is really hard to accept when you feel that despite all of the technology, despite all of the advances in technology, it still comes down to some absolutely incomprehensible decisions. So tonight, all I'm left with is disappointment, anger. I am slightly proud of Mikel Arteta for coming out and saying what he did. I do think he has every reason to be proud of the players. I do think that Kai Havertz could have folded completely under the pressure that he was under. I thought there was some battling performances and I thought we stood up and were counted, very much unlike the game on Wednesday. And there are things to be proud of. As I said, tomorrow, when the dust is cleared and my anger has subsided a little bit, and hopefully yours too, we can take a look at why we didn't win the game because we didn't quite have enough about us going forward and what's missing and fluidity that's not there at the moment. But apart from all of that, look, there are 4 games a season, away to Newcastle, away to Man City, away to Liverpool and away to Spurs that are always tough to win. And maybe we lose all 4 of those. And losing 4 games in a season still doesn't disqualify you from winning the Premier League. Man City are Man City. And you don't want to give them any advantage at all. And it feels very much like we're drifting outside of this title race. But it is early days. And I haven't given up hope. Far from it, in fact. I still believe. But let's be clear. Something has got to change in Premier League football. Something has got to change quickly before it becomes the laughing stock. Because VAR problems like this don't exist in Spain, they don't exist in Germany or anywhere else. And it's not a problem of VAR. I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face. VAR is just technology. It's how you use it, and we are not using it appropriately at the moment. And everyone can see it. So, tonight's result is a tough one for us to take. It's one that there are lessons to learn from. But overall, I'm proud of the players. I'm proud of the commitment and the fight they showed. If not always the creativity. Gutted. I want to hear from you if you think I'm wrong. I want to hear from you if you think that goal should have stood. I want to hear from you if you are absolutely sick and tired. And let's talk about some solutions. Let's talk about what we can do to change this. Because I don't want to hear about another letter of apology from PGMOL. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want another sorry. Every weekend there's a sorry. Sorries don't fix anything. We need to look at how we're going to fix this. And how we make people who make decisions as bad as this accountable. So, I normally sign off by saying be lucky. Seems a ridiculous thing to say because we definitely weren't tonight. So until tomorrow when we have a look at this as a football match between two brilliant teams in the Premier League, I wish you a good night and unlike the VAR officials, don't have nightmares.